In this episode of Meeting Up with Mentors, I am here today with Michael McFerren, Chick-fil-A franchise owner. Thank you, Michael, for your time today speaking with me.
Oh, truly my pleasure, as you would expect me to say, probably.
I like it, yes. I'm curious to learn if owning a Chick-fil-A franchise was your first experience with entrepreneurship or if you had any other prior business pursuits.
No, this was actually my first experience with owning my own business. Prior to Chick-fil-A, I was a pilot in the Navy for 12 years, which I think gave me a lot of qualities that actually helped me in my business with Chick-fil-A.
So then why Chick-fil-A? What is it about that franchise in particular that basically appealed to you personally?
Yeah, actually a couple things. One, it's probably a recession-proof business. I mean, people always need two things: food and healthcare. And I didn't want to go into healthcare, so I picked food because I'm a foodie myself. So, and secondly, I just, Chick-fil-A is a company that follows biblical principles, and that really aligned well with my moral compass. Out of all the franchises you look at, that was clearly the one that fit me best. Yeah.
So what do you feel then is the largest determining factor regarding whether someone will have the courage to start a business? Because I'm sure to some degree it took a little bit of courage for you, even with all of your military background, to be a business owner.
Yeah. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of faith. I mean, you have to believe in yourself and your abilities. I mean, you have to have that attitude of, I'm going to do it no matter what. I can do it. I'm going to do it no matter what. You're going to get knocked down, but you got to remember that you got to get back up, dust yourself off, and go get it.
And that's probably what I'm most interested about, because I always like learning about the person behind the business. When I think of you and your two beautiful girls, I mean, they've grown up with you, they've seen the pursuit. What is it that you hope that they picked up on while they watched you go through this process?
Yeah, actually, there's a couple things that I would really want folks to know, and my girls have picked up on. One, it's not easy work. People think, oh, you own your own business, it's easy, you get all the time in the world, you just go out in the backyard and harvest money off the tree. It's not that at all. I mean, it's a 24/7 endeavor. But the plus side is, I can dictate what those 24 hours are going to look like. Nobody else is determining that for me. I mean, there are certain times where I am needed in the restaurant. But for the most part, if Madison had a dance recital, I just rearranged my schedule and made it to the dance recital. Or if Macy had an art show, I did the same. So that's one thing. It's hard work and it's a 24/7 endeavor. The second thing is I hope the girls saw me, and I think they did because they've echoed it a couple of times, is when you own your own business, it's extremely important, in fact, absolutely critical on how you treat your employees. We call them team members. I call them extended family, because they're the ones that are getting the business done for you. So my job, I view my job as a servant leader. Yeah, I'm the leader of the organization, but my role is to serve my leadership and my team members in my company so that they can go ahead and serve the guest. And if I'm not modeling that service correctly, they're not going to know what to expect. And they're not going to know how to model that and execute that to our guests that dine with us. So those are the two biggest things I think my girls picked up on. In fact, I know they have, because one of them went to work for an organization that didn't model that servant leadership, and she's no longer with them. So,
I mean, hearing you talk, and I would tend to agree, I feel, children, youth, high school kids, college kids, mentors mean a lot. Meaning, if you can learn from a human being, that's greater experience than picking up any book. But when you think about the college experience, they're getting a lot of educators. But do you agree that having somebody with that business mindset, it's a little bit different sometimes, because you went to college as well, but do you feel as though any business mentors you came across in your life or people that you've known in business sort of had something else to offer you in terms of how you viewed the world or even step foot out into the workplace?
Yeah, absolutely. Out of my time after the military, I spent about 5 years in a recruiting firm, which was a small company. and I was on a daily basis, I was talking to the owner. And he was a mentor for me, not so much in Chick-fil-A, but just in owning your own business. School gives you a lot of book knowledge, and I think more importantly, college teaches you how to solve problems. I was a math and physics major, and then I flew jets for the Navy. None of that is involved in selling chicken, right? So, but what it does, because of my science and math background in college, every problem I come across in business, I attack very analytically. Where somebody that might have been a music major or an art major or a history major, they'll solve the problem, but they're not going to tackle it the same way I do. I mean, give me a problem, I'm going to throw it on a spreadsheet, figure out how to put it on a spreadsheet and figure it out. So I think that's what college does. It teaches you how to solve problems, or the way to solve problems, but I don't think it gives you any business experience that it's going to give you a good foundation to go out and start your own business.
So you did a lot young, obviously. I feel like, with being in the military, college, and then pretty much right out of there, picking up the Chick-fil-A enterprise. What's next? What do you see for you down the road? What is your hope? How do you want to spend the...
Yeah. Shannon, my wife, and I have talked about that quite a bit because I'm not that far from retiring from Chick-fil-A, maybe 5 or 6 years. And she said, there is no way you're going to be able just to retire and relax. And she's right. I mean, my mind is going in a million different directions all the time. I could be riding, sitting on my mower, mowing the lawn, and I'm thinking about a million different things. And they're snippets because that's my attention span, is a snippet. But yeah, it's probably going to be a lot of volunteer work, some philanthropy, something that is going to allow me to have influence on others. The cool thing about Chick-fil-A right now is I'm a pretty big influence in the community, and the community looks to my company for that. So that's probably going to be a continuation of that. Just in what venue? Who knows? I may be a sales clerk at Williams-Sonoma doing the same thing, influencing people. Who knows? But that's definitely going to be a part of my life probably until I'm, assume the room temperature. So.
Well, you have definitely made an impact on our community. What is it? 3 Chick-fil-A's now? Is that what I understand?
2 in Hartford County and 1 up at the University of Delaware. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on your remarkable success. I really appreciate all the insight you were able to share with me today, and the most valuable thing anybody can give you is their time, so I really appreciate that.
Truly my pleasure, and I'm excited for what you're going to do with these. I think the impact you're going to have on kids going into and out of college is just going to be amazing, because that's what they need.
Yeah. A little bit of fire, right? A little bit of motivation.
You got it.
Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure.